and you get caught in a vicious circle of negativity the moment you enter your house. How many times have you felt that you are perfectly all right until you entered your house? The moment you enter, you feel gripped by a force of familiar negative thought patterns. This is nothing but your own thoughts that you have managed to fill your house with. What do you do then? You call an expert in Vastu Shastra to change the layout of the house. Or you call a temple priest to perform some fire ritual and cleanse the house. Or you apply Feng Shui ideas to your house. When these things are done with sincerity, they will no doubt do the needful to your house. But you have to understand one thing. These are only supplementary methods. The actual thing is to clean your own self and radiate a blissful mental setup so that automatically the space in which you live radiates that. A man was asked what the difference between his past and present was. He replied, "Earlier I used to sit on the floor on a mat and eat. Now I sit at a table." You see, in the past and the present, his mouth is the same. If there is no radical change in you, your life will seem only this much different. Like how beauty lies in the eye of the beholder, the taste lies in the tongue that experiences it. Your mental setup defines the quality of your life. Most often, we know that we need to change, but somehow we fall back comfortably in the present setup of ours. We get caught in the same wheel again. One side of us tells us that we need to change, and the other side unconsciously slips into the familiar patterns again. Even if you are presented with many opportunities to change, you feel cozy in your present state and you miss them. This mental setup becomes such a solid reality in you, you simply radiate it. Just try to change it. Let me tell you, if you live with such a solid mental setup, there is one more danger in it. There is every possibility that your children will imbibe it from you. I am reminded of a joke. A husband and wife were both pickpockets by profession. They would often discuss that if they had a child, it would be very prosperous. Soon they had a baby. The newborn baby, however, had its right hand closed very tightly. They could not get to open it at all. The doctor attending to it tried all sorts of things and finally took out his gold chain and dangled it in front of the baby's eyes. The baby slowly opened its hand, and inside it was the midwife's gold ring. This is only a joke, but understand that as parents, you have every possibility of passing on your mental setup to your children. So be aware every moment and work upon your consciousness and awareness. Work on cleaning the inner chatter and framework inside you. We always try to control children and make them into puppets. Children are wild energy. We try to box that energy so that it becomes convenient for us to handle them. Two dogs were walking down the road. The first one said to the other, "My name is Sandy. What is yours?" The second one paused a while and said, "I think my name is No Roger." Like this dog, children also start absorbing and learning from our words and body language. When children are very young and they start wondering about something, what they do is immediately refer to our past actions or words related to that particular matter, and then they form their conclusions based on that. So when you are with children, be even more aware and try to keep their intelligence alive instead of simply trying to curb them all the time. Mothers are continuously trying to do this. For example, if it rains, the mother will tell them to get in immediately, saying that they will catch a cold. A few repetitions of this incident will automatically tune the child's mind towards cold when it sees rain. Even if it drizzles next time, the child will start sniffing. Actually, I tell you, man's body is the most intelligent, self-correcting autoimmune system. But somehow, we trust our own mind rather than the inherent intelligence of our body. There starts the problem and all our worries. A small story. A father camel was explaining to the son camel the body structure of their species. He said, "You know, we have humps so that we can store water in it for days together when we are in the desert." The son asked, "Why are our eyelashes so long?" The father replied, "To protect our eyes from sandstorms." The son then asked, "Why do we have such bulbous feet?" The father replied, "So that we can travel fast in the desert." "Dad," asked the son, "what are we then doing in the zoo?" You see, our body has been designed so beautifully. If we just allow it to run on its natural intelligence, it will function well. The moment you bring in your conditionings and impose them upon your body, you start experiencing difficulties. Your worries and mental makeup are the root cause for all disease, mental and physical. In the Himalayas, the sadhus or the wandering mendicants live inside caves. They are the healthiest people ever. Come sun or rain or snow, they continue to live, and their body adjusts itself automatically. We have to trust nature and the immune system associated with it. And understand, the master is someone who can give you a new mental setup, a rebirth. It is something which can be got by simply absorbing the presence of the master. When the master's energy floods you, your mental setup changes. You are reborn. You enter into a space that you never even knew existed. When you are reborn in this fashion, you will be free from the grips of all worries, illnesses, and other emotions. Even if any of these happen to you, you will be able to handle them with ease that you never even knew before. You will be able to become an observer of everything that is happening to you and around you. I was watching the television the other day in a hotel where our meditation program took place. On one Indian channel, there was a duet going on from an old movie. On another Indian channel, there was another duet going on from a new movie. I was telling my secretary that these two channels only showed that there has been no growth in man's consciousness. He was shocked at my observation and he agreed with me. The same patterns get repeated again and again, like 5 people kicking a ball around in a closed room. At least in the West, they go to extremes and explore things and come back. There is at least social intelligence in the West, if not a growing consciousness. Familiar patterns can make our intelligence totally dead. When I tell people these things, they tell me, "Swamiji, I understand what you are saying, but I am not able to overcome it." I tell you, just allow my words to penetrate you and create a space in you. This is where meditation can help. What I do in my meditation camps is, I give you the outer understanding and then work on it, penetrating you through meditation. But people tell me, "Swamiji, we have our work to do, bills to pay, deadlines to meet. How do we meditate then?" I answer them with a simple meditation technique. Whether you have time to pay your bills or meet your deadlines or not, you surely have time to breathe. Else you will not be alive. Now, you simply add awareness to your breathing, that's all. Just watch your breath. That is the simplest and most powerful meditation you can do. Every time you remember this technique, practice it. Soon it will become a habit. When you infuse awareness into your breath, you will be in the present moment.